I am 28, dated my ex-girlfriend. Let's call her Lila, F26, for just over 3 years. It started like any movie-worthy romance. We met at a comic book store of all places. She bumped into me reaching for the same issue of Saga, and I made a joke that I let her have it only because she was cute. She laughed. I asked her out, and the rest is history. Or so I thought. We clicked fast. Within a few months, she had practically moved into my apartment. She said I made her feel safe, like she could finally breathe. She told me she'd never had a relationship like this before, one with honesty, deep conversations, and shared dreams. And I believed her. God, did I believe her. The first year was bliss. We took road trips, binged Netflix series while cuddling on the couch, spent hours debating our favorite fantasy novels. She got along well with my friends, and my family adored her. She was bright, funny, charming, a little chaotic sometimes, but it added to her allure. She would do these quirky little things, like leave notes in my laptop case or draw doodles of us fighting dragons on my lunch bags. It felt like I had finally found someone who got me. But slowly, things started to shift. The second year started with her getting a promotion at her marketing firm. She was excited at first, but the job came with long hours and a new team she constantly talked about, especially one guy, Marcus. At first, it was just casual mentions. Marcus made everyone laugh today, or Marcus brought donuts to the meeting. I didn't think anything of it. I trusted her. But the frequency grew, and soon it became, Marcus said I should wear red more often, or Marcus told me I'm wasted in this company, that I should be running it. I started feeling a knot in my stomach every time his name came up. One night, around our second anniversary, she came home late. Really late. She smelled like wine and had that glazed look in her eyes. I asked if she had fun. She said they all went out to celebrate someone's birthday. She lost track of time. I asked if Marcus was there. She paused, then said, "Yeah, but why does that matter? Are you jealous?" I brushed it off. Told myself I was being paranoid, that I wasn't going to be that guy. But from that night forward, things kept slipping. She started spending more weekends at work retreats. She stopped initiating intimacy. Her phone was always face down, locked tighter than Fort Knox. But every time I brought it up, she made me feel crazy. "You're insecure. You're trying to control me. I can't believe you don't trust me after everything." By the third year, shell of myself, I was constantly anxious. She'd go cold on me, then turn sweet when she needed something. Our relationship felt like walking through a minefield, one wrong step, and she'd explode, or worse, shut down completely. Then came the final twist. I had this feeling, this undeniable, gut-wrenching feeling that something was going on. One day, she left her laptop open while she was in the shower. I wish I could say I wasn't the kind of guy to snoop, but I'd be lying. I opened her messages, and I found them. Not just texts, emails, photos, calendar invites. She had a whole life I didn't know about. She and Marcus had been seeing each other for over a year. She told him things like, "I wish I could be with you all the time, and he's a good guy, but you're my real person." She called me a placeholder, a fairy setting, placeholder. My hands went numb. I remember just staring at the screen for what felt like hours. All the moments she told me I was overthinking, all the gaslighting, all the lies, it all came crashing down. I confronted her. She didn't deny it, didn't even cry, just said, "I didn't know how to tell you." I asked her if she ever loved me. She said she thought she did, but that Marcus made her realize what she really wanted. That I was too emotional, too nice, too safe. I kicked her out that night. I should have done it sooner. But that wasn't even the worst part. Months later, I found out she was pregnant. And she didn't know whose it was. Yep, she had been sleeping with both of us. Marcus, apparently, freaked out and ghosted her. She came crawling back to me, sobbing, saying she made a huge mistake, that she wanted to raise the baby with me, that she still loved me. I told her to go to hell. I later found out she moved cities. I don't know what happened to the baby, if she had it or not, but the damage she left behind, it's taken years to even start healing. I started therapy. I hit the gym hard. I took solo trips to remind myself I'm a whole person without her. But the scars are deep. I still question if I'll ever let myself love like that again. If I'll ever believe someone when they say, "I'll never hurt you." Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night still hearing her voice in my head saying, "You're too sensitive." Number? I wasn't too sensitive. I was just in love with someone who didn't deserve me. I was in Florida last week with my girlfriend of a few years. We were staying with her dad and stepmom. Well, the first week of April in Florida was hot, in the 90s. So we would go to the community pool and would split a lunch and have a drink sometimes besides sunbathing and being mindful not to burn. A couple of days in of this relaxing routine, and we are sitting in our usual part of the pool. And as I am walking to the clubhouse to piss, and a guy passes me, and as he passes me, he loudly says my girlfriend's name. I was wary, but hey, I had to pee. I hurry up and walking back to our spot. I see this guy is sitting on the chase lounger that my girlfriend is stretched out on too with his hand on my girlfriend's ankle. I sit down and glared at him, and he removes his hand, but he also showed me this G-damn smirk on his face. I decided then that I didn't like him, and didn't hide it. My girlfriend noticed the tension and says to me, "Honey, this is Ray. Ray, this is Mark." I didn't say or gesture anything. I just stared. After too long a pause, I said, "Oh yeah? Well, how do you know Ray, Denise?" And my girlfriend says, "Remember last summer when you couldn't get away from work, but I still came down alone and stayed at Dad's for a week?" I nodded. Denise said, "Ray and I met at the pool here and hung out a few times." Now this Ray's smirking more, if that's possible, and luckily I had my sunglasses on, but I was fuming. Then Ray and Denise chat, and there was some flirting and double entendres, and while this is going on, I ordered a screwdriver cocktail from the nice waitress lady making the rounds. The waitress moves on, and Denise says, "You didn't even ask me or Ray if we wanted a drink." I ignored her comment, and Ray says, "Hey, it's getting late," and while staring at my girlfriend says, "Did you come here with your dad's golf cart? You should stop by my place to cool off and have a drink." I said, "No, we need to get back to Denise's dad's place." But Denise blurts out, "Sure." Ray then asks her if she remembered where his place was. It was in the old dingy part of the community. Denise says, "Yeah, of course," and then says his house number, and a beaming Ray says, "Yep, you remembered." Ray left, and we sat under the pool umbrella for a bit, and it got real quiet. I unpurposefully said and did nothing. Denise was in damage control and flustered. She said, "Oh, we don't have to go. Let's head home, honey." But I decisively said, "Fuck it, let's go. I can tell you want to anyway." Denise became quiet and nervous. I drove the golf cart and Denise took us right straight to his place, even though the whole park is a cul-de-sac feeding into another cul-de-sac and another to her. Denise walks to the side door, didn't even consider the front door, and knocks on his ancient trailer house. Ray immediately lets her in and looks at me like, "What are you doing here?" Denise said that she needed to use the bathroom, and it didn't seem like she needed any help finding it. As she is in the bathroom, Ray hands me a beer and says, "Hey, buddy, I'm not gonna lie. I've been intimate with your girlfriend, and I just might take her away from you. I took a long swig of beer and went in the fridge for another beer before saying, "That doesn't sound like Denise." And he answers with another smirk. Denise comes back into the kitchen, and I immediately ask her while staring in her eyes, "Did you and this Ray fuck last summer when I was not down here?" Denise looked like she seized up, and I already knew the answer before she even opened her mouth. Denise said, "Yes," but then added that it all began on a visit to her dad's 3 years ago, before we met that made it any difference. I finished my beer, set it in the sink. I looked at both of them for a moment and then walked out to the golf cart. And as I was driving away, Denise said, "Hold on, I'm coming." She jogged to the cart and sat down, searching my face. I said, "Well, it's okay if you want to stay and visit some more with Ray. You didn't even have a drink, and I'm sure he'd help you come if you give him a chance." I didn't say anything more that night, except when Denise's dad asked why we were so late. I answered, "We ran into Ray at the pool and stopped at his place for a beer." I was watching her dad and stepmom, and the shocked look on their faces told me that they were up to speed on this and that they knew Ray well. I slept on the couch in the sunroom that night, and the next, I didn't talk much those 2 days, nor on the hour-long drive to TAP. We dropped off the car and caught our flight back to the cold and rainy place we call home. My son picked us up and he asked, "Did you have a good time?" I said, "I'll tell you all about it later." And there was no more conversation. We got to my place, and Denise says, "I'm tired and need a shower. Let's talk tomorrow," and tries to give me a kiss. I put up my hand and moved away. The next day and those following, she has left several texts, voicemails, emails to my home and work email addresses, apologizing about the way that this was sprung upon me, that it didn't mean anything, and that Ray couldn't hold a candle to me. Blah, blah, blah. And could we meet in person to talk soon? Yesterday after work, she stopped by and rang the doorbell. I didn't answer. I haven't stayed over, I haven't called, haven't answered her messages and phone calls. It's been not quite a week. I think we're through. I just want to get my clothes, electric toothbrush, and iPad back. I'd appreciate some feedback and non-snarky commentary and advice.
About 2 years ago, I suspected my husband of cheating with his coworker. I called her and confronted her, but she acted like I was crazy for even thinking it, and swore nothing was going on between them. Couple months later, I find messages between them that seems like they're talking stuff, like the woman telling my husband, "I don't know if I should take this serious. I'm falling for you, but I don't know if I can trust what you say about not being in a relationship with your wife." So obviously that led to a huge fight, but he swears I'm taking it out of context, and she just has a huge crush on him, and she's suicidal, so he's just trying to be a decent person and be a friend for her. So now I'm the asshole if I tell him to leave the suicidal girl to her own problems, right? Anyway, he gaslit me that time and we moved on, but I still felt something off in my gut. A few more months pass, and out of the blue, I get a call from the woman I suspected him of cheating with. She's calling to confirm all my suspicions. She says they actually have been together since the first time I called, and she's finally admitting it because she no longer believes my husband telling her that me and him are separated. She says she's come over to my house before, and that they have had sex without a condom, and sends pictures of them together. She obviously lied the first time I confronted her, or she's lying now, but there's no way to know what is truth and what isn't. If she really came to my house, she would have seen my stuff everywhere and our family photos everywhere, and would have known that my husband didn't live alone separated from me. So now I feel crazy, never knowing the truth, because my husband still swears he never did anything with her, that she is crazy and photoshopped the pictures of them together and lied about them having a relationship. Me and him have been together for 14 years, so obviously I was heartbroken and I was ready to leave him. I even told his sisters what he did, but then I found out I was pregnant and couldn't bring myself to leave him. Now we have a 1.5-year-old and I'm a stay-at-home mom, so my husband is our only income. Sometimes I want to leave, but not sure how I even could now. I feel like I have to force myself to forgive him, but how can I when he won't even admit it and makes me think I'm crazy? So I am 23F. And my boyfriend say J, 24M, have been dating for 11 months now. He was from the same CLG as me. We knew each other from CLG. I tried talking to him when I saw him, but he never responded, so I never tried. This is starting for the CLG around 2 years ago. Then I met a guy. He's from our CLG too, but passed out. Let's call him AH, 29M. We both started talking. He made me feel happy but never safe. Red flag ick, but ignored all the things 'cause I liked him. 2 months into talking, he started talking to another girl. Let's call her PJ24F. She was also my senior. He started to spend less time with me and started to spend more with her. I argued about it and he said she likes me and knows me even before you know, but PJ hesitated to talk to me. AH had a GF by then, and they broke up 6 months before I and AH started talking. I was like, okay, talk, but keep your distance with PJ, and he agreed. But he started to treat me like shit. I cried and begged to treat me like I'm human too, and he agreed but never did. I started talking to Jay, my current boyfriend. We were talking on and off because I couldn't let go of AH. I started talking because I needed to let go of AH, and he knows that too. When AH knew I was talking, he started to manipulate me to stop talking to Jay, and it worked. This happened 4 to 5 times, and Jay was very hurt with what I did and completely blocked me. That hurt too much, but knowing I hurt him more than that, I didn't go talk to him again for a few days. In this meantime, AH started talking to me more and spent time with me more since he knew I was slowly drifting away. This sudden change in him didn't make me feel anything, but letting Jay go hurt too much. So I contacted him in every way possible. Though he didn't talk to me much, he responded to me, and I was happy with that. Then my B-day came and AH wanted to celebrate it, so he took me to a cake shop, got me a cake slice. Then we went over to his place and started arguing about PJ and Jay. I was very much sad and told him, I shouldn't have listened to you. I love Jay. Then he confessed that he loves me and begged me not to leave him. I felt very uncomfortable and asked to leave. He said to call my friends over to pick us up since his bike was not working. My friends came over and started playing games in his PS, and we started to argue again that I have to leave you and started to cry. He took me outside his room. Mind you, his home has cameras near the entrance, and the only place without them were in his room and near the washroom area. Since my friends were in his room, he took me to the washroom area, and I cried my eyes out on my B-day. He kissed me to console me and Jay. We, not talking at this time, I was blocked everywhere. That made me feel uncomfortable, yet I didn't push him. I told I wanted to leave, and we left. After my B-day, I discovered that he and PJ were in a relationship for the past 3 months. I got very much anger and mad at myself to let him ruin things for me. I called and told PJ, then he and I were intimate, though all that happened was a kiss. And she recorded everything. AH told PJ and he needs me, and he never even loved PJ, and I blocked him the very second, and so did PJ. They got together in a week later. And I called Jay and told him everything, and I was sorry to let him go and to give me a chance. He said, we'll see, and asked me if anything physical happened BTWN me and AH in the time I was blocked. I lied and promised that NTG happened, and he believed me. I lied because I wanted him. I lied about 2 other things too, but he came to know in a few days, and we fought and made up, and he asked again if anything physical happened, and I still lied no.